I used to ask myself a lot of questions. Scott, you're an ex-con. How are you an Avenger? That doesn't make sense. But everywhere I go, people tell me the same thing.
Thank you, Spider-Man!
Hello and welcome back to A Stark Contrast, where we discuss the differences and similarities from Marvel Comics to their MCU counterparts. And we are your hosts, Geoffrey
and Dai.
Hello, and welcome back.
Hello.
We are back.
We're back.
I know, this is definitely...
It's been a weird 2 weeks, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I feel like time has just flown by.
What is time? What is the quantum time realm?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, right? Like we're like, okay, time goes so slow, and then suddenly you're like, where did the day go? Where did the week go?
I blame holidays for that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's like November. It's mid-November. Technically mid-November. November is halfway done.
Friends start hitting you up. You're like, hey, let's do this. Let's do a Friendsgiving this day. Another group of friends like, oh, let's do a Friendsgiving this day. And you're like, oh, I got family stuff. And you're like, oh, okay, dang, I got to do this here.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, yeah.
And then someone's flying in from this place, and then I'm flying out this way, and you're flying out this way. And
there's so much going on sometimes I can't comprehend. I try to take things day by day, but I feel like I just can't.
It's tough. Welcome to life, right?
Yeah, adulting.
Adulting. That's what it is.
But we're back.
We're back. We're here. And so welcome to Mini Marvel number 7, where we talk about the broader Marvel universe and the MCU's hottest topics.
Woo!
Woo! And so if you're tuning in today as this drops, we just covered M'Baku with our last character study 2 weeks ago. And so Wakanda Forever is like on our minds 100%, 1,000%. And so this will probably turn into a Wakanda Forever short, honestly.
I don't think it will. I think it will. But there's no like doubting that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I just saw it last night, finally.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's fresh on Jeff's mind.
I was like, we got to do this.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. It was my first time seeing it. I usually watch it opening night with Dai, but I was on vacation, and then when I came back home, I just couldn't, and I finally was able to watch it almost a week later.
That's so
which is
crazy.
Unheard of.
But yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it soon.
Yes.
We're going to derail.
Yes.
So we're going to change it up a little bit for this episode, and we're just going to hit some smaller news first, and then we'll roll into some of the latest releases for the MCU, and then the last half of this show, if not more than, is probably going to be all Wakanda Forever. So, just a forewarning. We will alert you before we get into that for anybody who chooses to not be spoiled or live spoiler-free until they see the film. But until then, let's get into it. So some sad news in the comic book community recently. Iconic artist Carlos Pacheco sadly passed away earlier this month. Carlos was known contributor to many publishers. He worked on both sides of the fence, if you will, as well as other independent publishers, smaller time publishers, independent of DC and Marvel. But his work for Marvel, speaking of, included 2013's Age of Ultron line.
Oh, wow.
As well as countless other titles, including the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and many, many more. Loved that guy. Rest in power, dear sir, and thank you for all your contributions. Aside from that, we did have some listener questions that have kind of stacked up.
Oh.
In the last few, I admittedly forgot a few from the Groot episode, number 38. But I'm just gonna keep it down to this one in particular, because a lot of them were just like I am Groot's. Like people were just being really cute about the I am Groot.
I get it.
I am Groot. I am Groot. And so
I agree.
I am Groot. But I did want to go ahead and jump into that. So Captain Cheese, dear friend, asks. This is an interesting question: Groot or Grogu?
That is incredibly tough.
Groot or Grogu?
Is it too biased because of our podcast? Like, is it biased?
Maybe.
Because they both are great.
But it's the kawaii effect, right? It's like what they've talked about on The Toys That Made Us. It's like there's a thing about a tiny thing with big doe eyes, and it's so cute, and it doesn't matter what it actually looks like. It could be but it comes off adorable. So like what's a great example is the giant alien cow from Peacemaker.
Oh,
that thing was disgusting.
Yes. Yeah.
But its eyes were adorable, and you're like, oh, it kind of
oh my god, I feel bad.
Yeah, exactly. And so the same goes for
Groot and
Grogu, because I mean, and let's be honest, Yoda wasn't exactly cute, but you shrink it down, you make his eyes bigger, he's adorable.
Ugh.
And then Groody is like a walking tree. It's like, oh, it's a tree, but he's adorable. So
wow, that's actually super tough. I can't. I really wow.
I mean, but
I
it also,
keep learning here. Okay.
I mean, it also like in the context of like, but what? Like just visually?
I know.
Or
but
is
here's
it like
the thing:
if you're in a fight,
Grogu actually exists as a tangible thing on set.
Yes,
rather than
that's true.
Groot is all CGI.
Yeah, I mean they have that like weird figure thing.
Sure, but still like
that.
Yeah, but Grogu is was built actually.
Yeah.
For the set.
He's a practical.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
like the one I saw at San Diego.
Yes.
You can own it for.
Let's take it a deep further and not just include them, but their fathers. Rocket and Groot versus Grogu and Mando.
Oh, you had to do that.
I know.
Dude, bro, that's...
That's even tougher.
Dang!
Like duo-wise. Not just individual, but duo-wise.
Duo-wise, yeah.
Like camaraderie, like dysfunctional, but also like still father and son.
They actually have a lot in common, too.
They do have a lot in common.
Well, the funny thing about this entire conversation is really like... Because Groot is no longer Baby Groot. Like that baby Groot is a thing of the past. Yes. So it's not even present tense, right?
Yes.
So it's like, okay, well, you kind of got... I'm sure we're talking about baby Groot, but just for the sake of clarity, it is interesting that when people say Groot, you automatically
think baby Groot.
You think of the little guy.
100%.
Yeah.
Easily. You don't think of teenage Groot. No. You don't think of adult Groot. You're like baby Groot.
I changed my mind. This question is the entire podcast.
I wish we can give you, or I wish I could give you like a legit white and black answer, Caesar. But now that we like delved deeper into it, it's kind of like, wow, this is actually really hard.
I think I have an answer though, which is kind of messed up. Because look, okay, logistically, let's just say Baby Groot, Rocket, right? Like you said, Baby Groot and Rocket. They're doing space things. They're banditos. They're doing their headhunter.
They're dynamic.
They do their own work. They're off the grid. They're on the grid. Whatever. Mando and Grogu, they got like the Empire coming after them. They got all these people coming after them. The kid could go crazy.
Their stakes are much more higher.
Yeah.
He could
be at the bad Ben Solo.
He can force you.
He could Ben Solo you.
He can force. He has the force.
Yeah. Like there's all these factors.
Super
like,
tough. But
not to say that Groody wouldn't go bad.
Yes.
But
I mean, yeah.
I think I would have to side with Baby Groot, man.
Well, with Groot, you're going Groot.
I'm going Groot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still very undecided right now. I tried listing the reasons out, hoping it would like lead me to an easier decision. But the more I did, I was like, oh, I can't. It's just really hard.
It's like if you take it to the father level.
I know.
I mean, I feel like Rocket could take Mando down if he really wanted to.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I would pick Groot. So they're tied for first.
Yes. 1A and 1A.
Exactly. Okay, so thanks, Caesar. So super fanboy guy. First question asks, in terms of comic books, what are Geoffrey and Dai's holy grails?
Wow.
I mean.
Okay, well, I'll let Dai go first because she actually knows the comics. Yeah. I don't want to babble on and think that like I know what the hell I'm going to be talking about. So I mean,
they're so of the typical expectancy of what you could imagine a comic book fan would say, right?
Yeah.
For me, it does go across all over the board, right? So, like, again, I've said it many times. Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb's like Spider-Man Blue, one of my favorites. I actually loved Frank Miller's Sin City. I thought it was like, oh yeah, it's what like I was super into Sin City as a kid, super duper, and like also the fact that when the films finally came out, they were so impactful and like so groundbreaking for that time.
That is true. Those movies were a next level.
The first one especially was just incredible. And Elijah Wood is oh my gosh, and he was haunting. And of course, like the Batman's like Long Halloween, Tim Sale again. You know, I got a thing for Tim Sale.
Wow. Yeah. It's great. Well, I guess for me, I'm always just like. I only have one physical copy of a comic book, and that is the copy Dai got for me from New York Comic Con. She got me the Amazing Spider-Man collab with Kith clothing brand, which I was like, I can't believe you got this because this was literally impossible. Yeah. So I'm coveting that. Yeah. Like hard, and I'm just like, this is great. I look at it's on my desk. I look at it. It's still in the original packaging. I just look at it. I'm like, this is sick. I want to open it so bad, but I'm like, no.
You gotta get another
copy
first.
It looks so good. But that's like the only physical copy I have. So I guess that's my grail. It's technically a grail. Yeah. But because I'm like the movie guy, I love seeing like what movies have taken from the comics and like which version or what number comics is based out of. So for example, off the top of the head, I think of like the Infinity Saga or the Civil War saga, where they recreated like one of the covers for it in the movie with Iron Man's blasters against Cap's shield. So it's stuff like that just like I'm like, wow, like people there are writers and creators who go through these comics and they try to bring it to the screen. Yeah. So that's like my favorite thing to do.
I know Holy Grail is like tough, right? Yeah. It's like it for me. It obviously goes beyond just what I'm owning. It's also what I've read. And if he means by owning, oh God, I don't I don't know where I start. Yeah. Because I have a lot. Yeah. I have a lot of key issues and stuff, but yeah, I find the term like Holy Grail more of like stories that I've experienced. And of course, like the Killing Joke. I forgot to mention Killing Joke.
Yes, I heard that.
Yeah, which is incredible.
That adaptation too was on for the movie. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Holy.
Yeah. Yeah. so yeah, I don't know, super fanboy guy. Hopefully that helped answer your question. Ask us again. I'm sure we'll have different or additional answers for you. Alternating questions. Captain Cheese, once again. Young Avengers coming soon to the MCU. Also, She-Hulk and Daredevil? What? Mind blown emoji. So, Young Avengers. I mean, we've said this for quite a while already, right? Even as far back as our Hawkeye episode, because of Kate Bishop. Like, Kate Bishop is really like, was she the first? No. Yes. She was kind of the first.
I mean, if you
Avenger.
count Endgame's Cassie Lang, but not really though.
Yeah, because she got recasted too, which is kind of sad. Still.
Oh wait, no, or
still upset about
Wiccan
that.
and Speed.
That's true. Wiccan and Speed. Yeah, but that's probably not gonna. Whatever.
They don't exist.
Yeah, but but yeah, Young Avengers. I mean, that's a no-brainer. I feel like because they have lacked Avengers films, it's because they're gonna bring in this new wave of heroes. Yes. And so they will reintroduce the Avengers, but as the Young Avengers this time around, you know?
Or a combo of both these older and then these younger ones too.
Which is crazy because like that means by the time that this all comes together, Spider-Man will not be the youngest anymore, and he'll also be perhaps the most experienced out of that group.
True.
Which is kind of crazy.
Wanda's kids are incredibly active on Twitter, like those actors.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah, and they're always.
How old are they now? Like 11 or 12?
Something like that, and it's always like, what are you teasing, sir?
Interesting. Yeah. But are they locked in? Because I feel like they're part of the chopping block potential.
Sure, they're
not old enough.
But I don't know, man. Maybe they're just happy to be involved.
Yeah. I think they're passionate.
Yeah.
And then also She-Hulk and Daredevil. So, I mean, we talked a little bit about this in our She-Hulk episode.
Yeah.
Number 40.
Hell yeah.
Big 40.
I support it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm down. And if you haven't seen it yet, my friend Chuck Torrance, 100% soft, just released some Daredevil stuff from the She-Hulk series and collection he has of pins and also mini emoji toy things. So go get them.
You know what's also funny? Like, quick side tangent before we move on.
Yes.
I saw a video of just Charlie Cox on a paparazzi video, whatever, him just walking, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I forget he's literally actually not blind. I'm like, oh, he can actually see. Like,
oh my God.
I forget. Like, he plays Daredevil, Matt Murdock so well. I'm like, oh, he's really actually not blind.
You know what, Jeff? He's actually English too.
The Loki effect.
Yeah,
or not? Right.
You're like, wait a minute.
Who else does that? There's a lot of actors. I mean, Tom Holland. Holland, yeah.
Yeah, dude. People are like, wait, what?
Yeah.
He's English? Yeah. He's
Andrew
English
Garfield,
and he's not blind.
same deal.
Andrew Garfield. Yeah. No, that's really great. I love him so much.
He's great.
And he recently just fulfilled a Make-A-Wish
Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah,
wish?
and I'm not sure if it was here over in England, but a kid who is visibly challenged, or what is the proper? He's not blind, but he does have difficulty seeing. His hero is now Charlie Cox in Daredevil, and so Charlie at the time of the initial like Make-A-Wish, he wasn't able to visit the kid in person, and he sent him a video, and he's like, "Hey, it's me, Charlie Cox. I'd love to come see you." Blah blah blah. He couldn't do it, but my man's followed up.
Came back,
and he surprised the kid in person
in the suit.
That would have been dope though. He would have had to steal it like Star-Lord did.
Yeah, 100%.
But no, he came in person to see him, and he gave him a pair of signed red glasses.
Oh, that's
that he
sick.
Could wear.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, and he gave him something else, but I was just like, oh my God, yeah. I correct myself, visually impaired, and so. Yeah, I mean, I just adore him, and I would like to see more. And like, not to repeat too much from the Hulk episode, the She-Hulk episode, but yeah, like, I don't know that it's really gonna go anywhere past that season, because
like their
Daredevil and She-Hulk. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're both lawyers. It's probably gonna come together again at some point.
Maybe it's a friends with benefits situation. And that's fine too.
Hey,
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So I mean, hopefully this isn't the end of She-Devil. Hopefully we'll see more of them. Ariel Tima. Okay, so she gave us 3 questions. Okay. So maybe we can,
rapid fire.
Yeah, rapid fire. These aren't rapid fire. Is there a character you would make changes to in the MCU?
Oh. Damn.
That's a deep question. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yep.
I want to say no, just because I hate being that fan that'll just be like, I wish they did this, or I wish they did that.
Yeah.
Creative people make creative choices for a reason, to fit the story for that individual and for the bigger picture.
Yep.
Wow. That is incredibly especially just recently off the top of the head. I can't really pinpoint something where I was like, well, I wish this.
Exactly.
I wish they did this, or I wish they
because I mean, more or less everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, well, how would you go about changing anybody? I'm sure many people can answer this very easily, right?
And
tons of people can.
And characters learn, like they make mistakes.
Yeah.
So maybe they change after a certain, point.
Yeah, exactly.
But God, I don't want to cop out of a question, but I can't think of one.
I'm pretty okay with it, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Is there a character you want to see make their debut?
Oh gosh.
Right?
That is a great question. I mean, I just think about all like the rumors that people want to see. You have your Fantastic Fours, you have your Doctor Dooms, you have the Silver Surfer, which is basically just people from the same friggin' chain of family.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure. What about you? Stiltman?
Give him a Stiltman, man. Yeah, I mean, aside Stiltman and Paste Pot Pete, I'm gonna take that to the grave. Hopefully, I will not be in my grave by the time he finally makes his debut. God. I need to see him. I want to see him. I want the world to experience the delight and wonderment of Stilt Man.
Freaking dying. It's so funny. Gosh, I love it.
So yeah, definitely. I wonder if she actually had that Stilt Man in mind. Like I've embedded it in her brain already. Like Stilt Man or Stilt Man woman. Because lest we forget, if you missed, or I think it was in Baku, we talked about Stilt.
Stilt Man woman. Yeah,
Stilt Man woman.
Yes.
So there is two types.
Oh God.
But if we're talking bigger scale characters and not Z-rated villains, I mean, X-Men is definitely a cop-out answer, but we've seen them, right? We've seen them in some capacity. I've even seen Gambit, who is my ultimate favorite, probably Marvel character, right?
Yeah.
I've seen him already, so I can't even be like, I want this. But I would like to see adult X-23. So we've
Daphne
seen
Keane, right?
Daphne Keane, right? So she was Laura Kinney in Logan.
Yes.
She was child in that film, and which of course, fair enough, she was a child more or less in the comics, but I would like to see an adult version of her.
Yeah.
And if not her, somebody who's never ever been shown. There's a character named Singularity from A-Force.
Oh, okay.
From the ladies team.
Yeah.
And she's essentially a being made of cosmic energy or the cosmos. Like she looks like a galaxy.
What? Okay.
So like you could just imagine
like a Milky Way, like stars.
Like dark. It's just dark stars. Yeah, she's
all
gorgeous.
Right.
She's so cute. She's one of the cutest characters ever. Yeah, I would like to see her because I would like to see how they would handle her. Like how would they treat not only the actual reality of that character, but like bringing characters like Singularity and focusing more on A-Force in general. I think that'd be really cool because a lot of those characters also already exist. They're already in the MCU in some capacity because a couple of them were in Runaways.
Okay.
Nico Minoru and Carolina Dean, and then of course She-Hulk and Carol Danvers. But you know what? I will say I would like to see proper Spider-Gwen.
Yes.
We have not seen proper
live action.
Not live action.
Yes, sure.
But, that's another story for another time. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
What are you most excited about for the future of the... Oh, not future of the MCU, just the future of Marvel. I don't know.
I'm thinking MCU. I'm taking it as MCU.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I mean, I saw a tweet the other day or whatever, or article about the fans getting too exhausted with how much content Marvel is rolling out. Mm-hmm. It could be like just pure exhaustion. Like, okay,
fatigue, the Marvel
fatigue. Yes, which I mean, I know we have this podcast.
Yeah,
but I'll also say that I get that 100%.
Yeah,
because like obviously the era that we're in of movies and media, it's like, oh crap, like we're building this, and that's just how it is. Like this is what Feige intended.
Yeah.
This is what he wanted, and he got it. And, now that it's like actually a thing, it's like, oh gosh, like, do we even want to see it? Because before, let's say between 2009 and whatever, when they were releasing only 2 Marvel movies a year, it was like, we want more.
We want
crap.
faster.
Like, what the
Why
heck?
are they a year apart?
And now that we're doing, they're doing it with,
it's too much.
now that they're doing it with 2 to 3 movies a year on top of maybe 4 to 5 shows a year.
Careful what you wish for, baby.
And now it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Personally, I do not care.
Hard same.
But so what I'm excited for is just the expansion of different stories. And like we're going to talk later about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, the expansion of basically introducing Dalakan. and the people of that
Yeah.
underwater world that we have like know nothing about, and we don't know how much of a potential threat they really are. And we'll get into that when we'll discuss the movie later. So it's stuff like that, because I remember watching that. I know we're talking about it later. I will say when that's one scene where Namor takes, spoiler alert, by the way,
take somebody down.
Yes, take somebody down into their world.
Yes.
And you see like the visual and how that is. I was like, I've never seen this in a Marvel movie before. This is amazing. Yeah, this is crazy. Like the visuals of it, whatever.
Yeah.
So like that, obviously we have Eternals, which was a whole different expansion of the galaxy and cosmos.
Yeah.
So that's what is to be introduced to like these new like, what's the word I'm looking for? Civilizations, I guess. Yeah. Different parts of comics that we haven't seen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, that's the thing about that I feel like people often forget is like, we're not going to stay in that safe space of Captain America and Tony Stark for the rest of our lives. Yeah. Like, it's not how it is in the comics. It's not the way it's going to be on the screen. And so, which is ironic because the people that are complaining are the people, whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like, in that same vein of, I'm excited to see these other worlds that personally I'm familiar with from books, but don't know that much about at all. Or have never been explored in the Marvel universe. And so to see, we talk about this a bit in some of the episodes we've done where they modify things in the comics to suit the movies and vice versa. And so every time they expand the movie verse, they're expanding the source material in some way, right? Mm-hmm. And so they're getting more characters to play with in the comics by featuring certain people in the movies. And so I guess I'm excited for both the MCU and Marvel in that they seem to be doing pretty good, like keeping everything going. Yeah. It's expanding the way it should be, and it feels organic in some way. Like I know in the comics sometimes it gets a bit tiresome because they do these big spectacle, arcs of things like, like Edge of Spider-Verse, right? And so they've revisited the Edge of Spider-Verse. Then they recently released last summer, the Gwenverse. Oh, and it's exactly what you think it is. Yeah. And they have a title with Jessica Jones called Variants, and it's just Jessica Jones Variants. Yeah. And so they're exploring these different things with familiar characters from the source material because of things that are happening in the MCU. So I don't know. I'm curious to see like if this MCU version of the Talocan are going to affect how the canonical version of them is, and if they're able to flesh out the history much more like this is. Yes. Much more in ancestry to it and historical accuracy or reality, if you will. I think that's really exciting. I think they help both ways. So that's exciting.
So excited for just everything that's just gonna happen. Whatever they have planned, what story arcs they want. I'm just taking it as it comes. Yep. Whatever story they put out. Yep. I'm just gonna ingest it, take it. Yeah. And that's it. I never go in thinking like, ooh, I hope they do this. I think they're going to do this. Because then if they don't do it, I'm disappointed.
No, exactly. Like, that's exactly right.
I'm going to keep reiterating, take art as it's presented, not what you want. Exactly. And just enjoy what's being presented. Yeah. It's so easy.
I agree. Oh, okay. Last question. Super fanboy guy, once again. This is the one that I was chuckling about earlier. Question for Geoffrey. If you could go on a date with any MCU female, who would it be?
What the Why? Why?
You're like, why just one, huh?
Why just one?
If you had to pick, who would it be?
I'd say, okay, MCU female. Okay, are we talking about like their character or the actor?
I'm pretty sure he means the character.
The character?
I feel like he means the character.
Okay, now that's interesting. Let's get into it.
Oh my god, okay. If everybody could see the faces, he just like let's get into gesture.
It. I won't try to spend too much time on it.
Oh my god,
let's
this
get
is so
into
good.
Because everyone knows I think I have like top 3, top 4.
Your girlfriends?
Yes.
Your wifey?
Yes.
What do we call them? What do we address them as?
Just, I don't know. Whatever they want me to be, I'll be that for them.
There it is. The Scarlet Simp is out.
We have Wanda. I think Wanda and Scarlet go hand in hand, so I'm just saying Wanda. So we got Wanda, we got Kate, we got Yelena.
Kate the Bishop. Yelena ain't yours.
Too bad. I said her name.
Okay, you can have her for this question.
Well, because we got that, and then who else? Who else do we got? Oh gosh.
Yeah. Well, is it Gemma Chan or is it? You know what I mean?
Oh, we're going. Sorry, it's Cersei. We're doing Cersei.
We're
for
doing
sure.
Cersei.
We're doing the Cersei.
Cersei's cute.
Sorry, like Minerva was great, but
Yeah.
Cersei is the best.
Cersei.
Sorry, she gets it.
Yeah.
She understands. So we have that. Oh my gosh, who else do we? I mean, I'm just talking about main heroes too. That's not even. We're not even going like the side plot characters.
I was gonna say.
Like, Lady Thor. Jane. Oh God. Like I even love me some Captain Marvel. Like I love me some Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. Dude,
So basically, you got one for every day of the week.
you're serving me a silver platter full of amazing
It's
women.
like, you just make a 365 daily calendar.
They
Jeffrey's
are
got a girlfriend
all
for
amazing.
every day.
You got Gamora. You got
Who's Gamora?
Nebula too. They're all great. They're all great.
Oh my god.
Mantis, great. They're all God. And all for different reasons too. Obviously, if I want to take Gamora out on a date, I know it's gonna be hard. She's gonna grill me. She's gonna be like, "Why should I even give you a time of day?" I go on a date with Nebula, she might just kill me. I go on a date with Mantis, she might try to read me and like do some like
sleep.
Yeah, some stuff.
Yeah.
And then, oh God.
Yeah. Top 3.
If I would go on a date.
Top 3 that you would go on a date with.
Okay, top 3.
Can you do that? Top 3.
Oh, that's so hard. I think I'm going. This might be a curveball to you, but I'm going Cersei. Just because she's
lovely.
Huh?
She's lovely.
She's lovely, and she's lived lifetimes.
Yeah.
So the amount of knowledge she has, and me just wanting to be like, oh my God. So how was it in like 1450? like what? Like ancient Babylon.
For sure.
Ancient Babylon, what's that like?
Yeah, exactly.
Mesopotamia, what did they do?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
What's your regret that you wish you interfered with the human?
Make me a Christmas tree.
Yeah. Like what,
Yeah.
Cersei for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Number 1. Number 2.
This is like, I feel like this is like an F married kill type of deal, but it's kind of like date to marry, date to, I just want to see you a couple times, and then date to be like, I just want to see what's going on once in that head of yours.
Wanda.
Yes.
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 And so number 2. Who's number 2?
Number 2, it's honestly hard. It's a toss up between Kate and Yelena, funny enough.
I mean, why only have one when you can have both?
That is very tough. That is very tough.
I mean, I feel like you and Kate could get along pretty good.
I think so too.
I think Yelena would. I think Yelena.
Yelena,
would
I'd be
like,
nervous as hell.
She would spend hours just roasting you.
I'd be so anxious. And I'd be like, I just would want to try to say anything that impresses her. And I'd be like,
why do you wear glasses?
I'd be like, I don't.
Why are the letters on your hat upside down?
I'd be like, I don't know. I'm so sorry.
That is too much sriracha on your mac and cheese.
You like sriracha too?
Exactly. Do you like waba grill? What is a waba grill?
So I'm gonna have to go. Yeah. So we're gonna go Cersei.
So
Kate.
So Yelena and Kate are more or less like
but
baby
Grogu
and
different.
Grogu and Groot on
my
previous question.
But I'm gonna just go
one A and A.
I'm gonna just go Kate just on the because she's like probably a little bit easier to talk to.
I feel like you and Kate are like two sides of the same coin.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. So maybe it works out. Maybe
Wait, does that make me Clint? Damn it.
I'll go Kate.
Okay.
I'll go Kate.
Kate
and then third one, Wanda.
Yeah.
Just because it's like I gotta see what's under the hood.
Yeah.
Like I want to know like Like you've been through a lot. You've lost literally everything.
So are we talking like current, quote unquote, current timeline Wanda? Or are we talking like when she first came out?
I'm talking end of WandaVision.
Okay.
End of WandaVision.
Oh, end of WandaVision.
But right before, right before multiverse, before she gets crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say crazy, but before she like just goes on a freaking rampage.
Right. Before the
so I'll do
before
that.
the dark hold.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair.
Yeah. I hope that answers your question.
Incredible. And so with those questions, we wanted to go ahead and jump into the main topics, the latest in the MCU. And so, yeah, we've mentioned here and there the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special is coming up. It drops November 25th, 24th.
November, yes. It's this month.
What did I say? Did I say December?
Did you say November? You said November 24th or 25th,
oh, okay.
Right?
Gosh, I'm losing it.
I almost forgot we were actually in November. That's why I was like,
sure. Oh. So yeah, holiday special comes out next week after this episode drops. Be sure to watch that if you're not doing anything for Thanksgiving, or if you are doing something for Thanksgiving, check it out. We will definitely talk about that more in our next character study episode. So we're just gonna scooch on past that. And I wanted to talk about, because we did not discuss this and have not discussed this at all.
Oh, really?
Werewolf by Night.
Oh, we haven't, huh?
We haven't talked about it.
I loved it.
I feel like once spoopy season like trickled out, people were just like, okay.
I think that's like the downsides of spooky season. It lasts maybe a week at best,
which annoys me.
Yeah. Same thing. Actually, and Thanksgiving lasts 2 days at best.
I know, right? Oof. It's the leftovers.
But yeah, I loved it. One, just because it was different.
Yeah.
And it was the first, and it's the first special presentation of Marvel.
Yep.
Which it's such a great, like, just something different.
And I'll be honest, that did not resonate with me very quickly at all.
Really?
It took a while for that to sink in, that it was a special presentation. I was like, what is this special presentation? And I thought it was like a special production type thing. Like, it was still going to be episodes long. Like, it was going to be 2 episodes.
Like a limited
or 3.
Limited series.
Like I thought it was going to be a limited series. And then I was like, oh, now I understand why people are quote unquote complaining that it was only an hour long.
Like 50 minutes an hour.
Because it wasn't a full feature and it wasn't a series. But I think that Michael Giacchino did an incredible job.
Yeah, this was his directorial debut,
which is insane.
So it makes sense why he was like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about a future presentation movie. I don't have to worry about a 6-8 episode thing. I just this 1 50-minute thing.
So yeah, Michael Giacchino's
directorial debut.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I loved it. Obviously introducing a new character with the werewolf and still having this old school feel.
Yeah.
But now it's omnipresent in the MCU. I hope I used that word right.
Yeah. Omnipresent.
Sick.
Now here's a question for you. What era do you think that takes place in?
Oh, that's right. What did they I think they said it, right?
I don't think they've clarified.
I was going to go 2030s.
Really?
Is that too much?
Oh, 1920s,
yeah.
I was like 2020. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think the same. My money is on 20s. Maybe
I'm getting 1924
mid to
vibes.
Late. Yeah. That's exactly right.
Because I know exactly what happened.
Yeah, exactly right. I was there. That's fine. Yeah, no, I agree. I think think it takes place in 1920s. I thought it was fantastic. Gail Garcia Bernal was amazing. And it's funny because, we were supposed to see this at the cemetery.
Hollywood Cemetery, yes.
And I was out of town, unfortunately, and I couldn't go, and then you couldn't go. But it didn't dawn on me until I finally got to watch it. And I was like, God, that's right. It's Gail Garcia Bernal, like, as Jack Russell, which is funny because I almost feel like they didn't say his name more than once or twice in the entire thing.
Yeah.
But we talked about this in our Moon Knight episode that it's hilarious irony that he's named Jack Russell.
Oh yeah.
When he's a werewolf.
Yeah.
And those are dog breeds. But yeah, I thought he did an excellent job. I didn't know that one of my I wouldn't say favorites, but a modern character that I've really come to love is Elsa Bloodstone.
Yes,
and she made
her
great. debut in this as well. Yeah, Laura Donnelly. Sorry, I thought she was fantastic. She does give a lot of Jessica Jones vibes.
Yes.
But that's okay, because in Alias, in Jessica Jones's last solo series before Variants, she had a couple of episodes with Elsa Bloodstone, and they're very similar.
Yeah.
Jess would even kind of sidestep in, for Elsa, because Elsa's that much of a badass.
Yeah.
That Jess was like, whoa, starry eyes. So I loved Laura's portrayal. And I thought it was aesthetically so cool. It was great to have that very different spooky vibe. That was also like insanely violent.
Yes. I mean, super curious and interested how Werewolf gets interpolated into the MCU at some point, and how, I don't know, we'll see.
And
just let it happen.
Woo! I'm ready for that. I would love to see more. Where? Who knows? But I mean, again, they collided. He and Moon Knight collided in the comics. So who's to say they wouldn't do it in modern era?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see, I guess. And then, last but not least, Wakanda Forever.
Oh gosh.
So
here we go.
If you've not seen the film yet and you want to stay free of spoilers, please pause.
Go watch the movie
and then come back.
Come back to this exact point.
And then exactly. So let's get started and talk about Wakanda Forever.
Amazing.
Spoilers ahoy.
Spoilers.
Ahoy. Amazing. Yeah. Very amazing.
I cried 4 times.
That's a lot.
4 times.
I think I did 4 as well.
2 of them I didn't expect to cry. I knew I was going to cry.
Yeah.
2 of them I think I didn't expect.
So shall we kind of go through the film itself?
I was going to say, maybe we can, because there's also a couple cameos we have to talk about.
Yes.
Where I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's a long movie, and there's a lot of character development. I mean, we won't go too in depth, like with the arcs and everything, but we kind of want to touch on important key character points.
Yeah.
I guess, maybe we can break it up into maybe just like the 3 act, like start from the first part of the movie, going to the middle. Yeah. Sure. I mean, before we get started, also this whole movie was just an incredible tribute.
Yeah.
To Chadwick Boseman.
Oh my God. And I said this off mic, and I'll say it again, but even without Chad being presently present in this film, you can feel him in every second of it.
I felt it.
And in a way that wasn't overpowering. Like, they're clearly paying tribute to him and his character so well that you feel T'Challa and you feel Chadwick Boseman in every thread of it, but it in a way that is still very, very respectful.
Yes.
And still progressive for the characters and the story.
Yes.
It's not stunting.
Tough. It's got to be, like, I can imagine how tough it was writing this, especially after, like, probably none of them really knew that.
Yeah.
Chadwick's illness. Yeah. And now to, like, kind of just be like, oh gosh, how do we, So to just kind of what Ryan Coogler and the team did to kind of just like create this story that pays tribute to Chadwick while also furthering the story of the lore of Black Panther.
Yeah.
I thought they did an incredible job.
Yeah. Because that's not easy.
That's not easy,
it's
man.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not.
You lose your leading man, and then the entire universe like shifted.
Yeah.
Like
pretty much.
And that's why I kind of appreciate what Feige had said, in that, like, sure, some people would see it as like a marketing spin, whatever, but I truly believe that he was earnest when he was like, it just felt too soon. Like, the world was mourning him. They still mourn him. And
I think they portrayed that perfectly in the movie. Because basically how they reacted and portrayed like our real world grief towards Chadwick. Yeah. They portrayed it for Wakanda mourning the Black Panther. And I was just like, it felt like, very fresh.
Very fresh. Yeah. So essentially we're dealt with the mysterious illness of T'Challa and imminent death. that happens more or less on screen in some way. Like it's real time. I guess real time is the better way of saying it.
Yeah.
It does happen real time on screen. You don't see, of course, Chadwick at all. But the emotion is there. The way that they portrayed everything
sense of urgency. That first shot was a one take, and it was just you just felt the sense of urgency, the emergency with everybody,
it was heartbreaking. And then they smoothly segue into the funeral procession and celebration of his life, right? Immediately after. And that's the very first time we do see Chadwick's face in the film painted on that mural. Have you seen any translations for that? I haven't looked it up. Oh yeah.
Oh gosh.
What does
I
it
just
say?
watched a new Rockstar video today. I think it's I forget. I literally saw it today and I forget, but it's something like attributing to like T'Challa, like you'll always like be here, like resting, watching over type of deal.
God, love it. Yeah, and I thought it was just so fabulous also to bring in, the African aspect of wearing white during celebrations and being grateful for someone's existence and celebrating them more or less. That entire thing was just like, it was so hard. It was the entire first like 15 minutes. I think I was just like a freaking mess.
It was very
tough. Mess, yeah. And you can feel the pain. You can feel the pain.
Yeah, I will say Letitia Wright and Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, you really felt it from them,
Yeah.
I mean, actually, they're actually family in the movie. So
yeah.
Yeah. You felt it.
Yeah. And it was interesting because it's like they kind of give you a time frame, right? They kind of give you the timeline in which this falls in. And I'm not sure. I think it was further down in the film, but I don't want to jump ahead too much. But you get the sense that this is happening concurrent with Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania.
Sure.
So it's the same time because I remember seeing the ticker at the bottom of the news screen, and it's like Scott Lang promoting his new.
You caught that?
Yeah.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's all I look at when there's a news thing on in a Marvel movie. I'm reading all the headlines.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a Scott Lang's promoting new book.
That's I didn't even think about reading that.
Yeah. So where that actually positions the film in terms of the series and all that, I believe it's after. So I would say it skews closer to, maybe right after Ms. Marvel.
Maybe.
Yeah. About. And so I don't remember. I can't remember because I remember we discussed very briefly that Shang-Chi and Falcon and Winter Soldier were more or less in the same week, I believe.
They happened concurrently, yes.
Yeah, and then after that is when I think Loki and
I count Loki in like in a gray area.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
Like the grayest of gray areas. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how as we progress, because this is the end of phase 4, correct? 3, 4.
It
4.
is.
It is the end of phase 4 with this film. So this is the new starting point for phase 5. And it's going to be interesting to see how subtly they
merge
weave
everything,
it all together.
yes.
Yeah. And you start to realize, so-and-so was there while this was happening and da-da-da-da-da. And so, gosh. From there, what happens?
Yeah.
We were reintroduced to the fact that the Jabari are more inclusive within the tribes too.
Uh-huh.
They're more welcomed and appreciated, obviously, for what they did in saving King T'Challa and the family in the first film. Notably not present is Okabe.
Okay.
Daniel Kaluuya's character.
Yes.
But they do allude to the fact that he was treacherous, right?
Yeah.
So
he was like a traitor.
Interesting.
Yes.
So he is officially betrayed the people of Wakanda. So he is either imprisoned.
Yeah, just to not.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Screen, yeah.
I was like, oh. So he is somewhere in the gallows, perhaps with Baron Zemo.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, then we get introduced to the vibranium like detector in the middle of the sea.
Yes.
That ship gets attacked. What people think is Wakandans.
And the sirens call. It's freaking creepy.
I was like, what's going on here? And I'm like, oh, they got this power. And I was like, oh gosh,
that's insane.
So this comes with the introductions of the Talokans, ancient Mayan, Aztec. I forget.
It's the Mayans for sure.
Yeah.
The ruler of Talocan, a breakaway civilization descended from the ancient Mayans and the hidden of the depths of the ocean.
I loved their backstory. I loved it.
Yeah,
when
really...
Namor was explaining it, I was like, this is an insane backstory.
Which I think is interesting too, because I am no Namor, like I don't know crap about him aside that he is awful. He's awful. He had a thing with Sue Storm, and he hated the Avengers, but he helps the Avengers, and he wears trunks. But in the comics, I just feel like they've never really fleshed out. Like they regard them as Atlanteans, right? And so
yes,
I feel like they didn't flesh out the historical aspects to this nature. Like this is very new, I feel. And I think it gave it a new breath of life because like it is cool to have more than just he's a merman and he lives in the ocean. Yeah. You know, like they explored
so much more. And I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, they really did a great job of making him.
Tenoch Huerta. I hope that's correct. Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Huerta.
Yeah. Just killed it.
Yeah, I was very impressed with the way that he brought this character to life because again, he even says it himself. He used the M word. He is like the first official mutant.
He's like, yeah, I'm a mutant. And I was like, whoa, buddy.
Born different.
Yeah.
A mutant.
I was scared of him.
Yeah.
After that encounter. Okay. When they brought Shuri down to Talocan.
Yeah.
And after he had showed her the city and everything.
Yep.
And basically said, you're going to help me or else this.
Yeah.
I was scared of him. I was like.
He does the gangster thing where he sits you down and he's quiet about it and he looks you straight in the eye.
Yeah.
And
he's like, I'm going to do
this
it.
This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Valid reasons.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, you know, we're going to cover Namor at some point. And also, that's interesting because you say Namor, I say Namor.
I'm pronouncing it how he pronounced it in the movie.
I was going to say, the Wakandans say Namor, sorry. They say Namor, and he says Namor.
Namor, yeah.
Which is incredible because, you know, to the point of they've fleshed out his backstory with the Mayans, for instance. They've also inspired the name.
Yes, because it was like a saying. I forget something like you are loved by the devil or something.
The devil. You have no love.
Yeah.
And so he is Namor. Namor. I like that.
But the reason then we can go back to why Shuri was under there in the underwater world is because Wakandans are trying to protect the scientist who created that vibranium detection technology underwater. And that scientist is a 19-year-old kid from MIT named Riri Williams.
Riri Williams is officially in the MCU.
AKA Ironheart.
Ironheart.
Crazy. Yeah. I enjoyed her so much.
She's fantastic. I thought she had an incredible introduction into this grand universe. She's going to have a huge role in all of this.
And like
for obvious reasons.
Earlier question from Caesar, the Young Avengers.
Yep.
There it is. There you go.
Yeah, they've got their equivalent, quote unquote, of Iron Man in Riri Williams. And from what little I know about Riri in the books as well is, it's very similar. She was just a young teenager who is just inspired by technology and what, you know, Tony Stark had made for himself. And she was like, I can do that. And she did.
She's a young genius.
Yeah, she's just a genius.
And you see it right away.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Did you catch? This is another thing. I'm catching all the little Easter eggs in this one. It's such a throwaway line because the way that they edited it, I feel, is also what they did it. the way they did for the same reason that maybe people wouldn't even catch it. But when they're in the garage and she's opening the stuff and, you know, opening the computer, and she's like, oh, I got bit encryption on this. And Okoye is like, oh, and then Shuri says, oh, that's impressive. And she goes, yeah, I built a quantum computer too.
Oh, she said that.
She said that, but the camera was on Shuri and they were looking at the diagrams. And so it's such a throwaway because Okoye or I think Okoye almost speaks almost immediately after that, or Shuri does. And she's like, oh, that's impressive. And if you don't pay attention, it's lost.
Wow.
But she literally says, yeah, I built a quantum computer too. And I was like, huh. And we got this movie called Quantumania coming up.
That's crazy.
And their next big baddie thrives on the quantum realm in the multiverse.
How do you even fathom a quantum computer? Yeah, okay.
So I was like, smokes. Like, what is that going to mean in the future, right? Like, what is that what breadcrumb has she dropped with that small little thing? Yeah. And so I really appreciated this, you know, the portrayal of her. I thought she was just incredible right out the gate. Yeah. She was funny. Yeah. You really believe that she is this character. Yeah. And she's a genius, and seeing the marks that she's already doing. Yeah. She's already on Mark 2. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, pretty much.
Which is wild. Because they even did in the creation of her Mark 2 in Wakanda, once she makes it to Wakanda, all the scene setups, the DOP did the callbacks to Tony. Yeah. It's the same scenes from Iron Man 1 when he's in the tank top with the goggles and he's got the gloves ironing out his thing. It's the same thing that Riri just did. And I was like, dang. Yeah. It's the new generation.
I know.
They're here.
It's crazy. And because of who she is, and she does have a target on her back, yep. Our favorite colonizer has come back. Martin Freeman, Agent, Ross. Agent Ross. Yeah. Has come back, and I'm like, I saw him and I was like, yes, he's back. Yes. And another crazy plot twist I did not see coming was him being ex-spouses with Valentina.
When that dropped in the first screening that I saw it, everybody was like, whoa.
Yeah, I was watching it with Sam, and then she came on the screen and I was like, what the hell? And I was like, and she was just like, who's that? And I was like, I can't explain it to you right now because she's popped up in other, but oh my gosh. Yeah,
my first impression was that okay, Valentina's here. We got it. Okay, cool.
Like, what is she? And she's the director. She's the director.
Right?
Of the CIA,
and
or
also
something.
That she was hitting on him, and I was like, okay, sure, whatever. But then the drop of like, there's some things that I wanted to apologize for what I said during our marriage, and I was like, oh!
I know. I was like, whoa,
wait a minute, what just happened?
Oh my gosh.
So the person who is essentially evil Nick Fury is the director of this organization.
Is it the CIA? Is he the director of the CIA?
I'm pretty sure it's CIA. Okay. I don't think they identified it.
Okay.
And then Agent Ross is her ex-husband, who has now been demoted and removed and extracted
because he was talking with Wakandans behind
he was
U.S. government's back.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a ball drop.
I know.
Like that's a
and now
a big
I'm like
drop.
Now I'm like, okay, what are you setting up now? Like when with Thunderbolts coming in soon, you're kind of like, okay, what are we getting?
Well, we do know first and foremost, she wants vibranium.
Yes.
So it's like, why does Val want vibranium so
bad?
Why
do you want it so bad?
Why does she want it? So there's
why do Americans want it so bad?
Well, we know why all of them want it because the Wakandans can hear their whispers.
Yeah. Oh god.
And how they do want to weaponize it all, but for Val, it feels very personal. She wants it for her own means, for our own team. So I'm just like, okay. So things are coming together.
Yes. Yes.
And so, of course, I wanted to shout out Dominique Thorne, who plays Riri Williams.
Yes.
As well as Tenoch Huerta,
Sick.
I thought he had a hyphenated name in the movie.
That's what I
didn't
thought.
he?
But I could be wrong.
Huerta Meja.
Okay. There it is.
Mejia.
Mejia. Okay.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a cool name.
Yeah. That's so sick.
Yeah. And so so gosh. And then from there, who else do we see? So I mean the big one I think for me also, well, I mean they're all big, right? Is like Okoye and the Dora Milaje. And how that all goes down. And again, you know, we said this off mic, is that there were a lot of things in this film that were more or less unexpected, right?
Yes.
Like you didn't expect some certain risks to be taken and some losses to be had. So a big one for me, I think, you know, right under the obvious two deaths is the fact that Okoye then loses her rank as general.
Yes.
For losing Shuri.
Tough. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was tough. So she's technically a civilian now. I would imagine Shuri brought her back in, of course.
Yeah.
But that whole scene seems to be a fan favorite.
Really?
Where once they leave the garage and Riri is in her Mark 1 and Okoye is in the car and Shuri is on the motorcycle. That seems to be a fan favorite.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun sequence and like pretty intense too, because it's the Talakan people fighting, and this is like your kind of first time seeing how they fight and whatever, and you're kind of like, who are these? Like, are they humans? Are they not? Like, are they invincible? And you find out like, oh, they are super strong, super fast. Yeah. You know, and then that kind of leads up to like this whole civil war between Talakan and Wakanda, with both leaders trying to be like, with basically Riri Williams being the kind of MacGyver, what is it, the MacGyver, whatever, I forget what it's called, MacGyver's effect or whatever. Like she's like whatever, like she's like the reason like they're fighting for her, because Talakan wants to kill her. Yeah. But Wakanda's like, well, maybe we shouldn't. That's not a bad idea. That's not a good idea. Yeah. So that's like the whole kind of start of the Civil War and everything.
Yeah. And of course the interesting fact that, like for you know, and Queen Ramonda says this, in that Wakanda had always been known as the only nation with vibranium.
Yes.
And then now with the discovery of the Talokan, and that they have the same,
they
if not
do
more.
have it, because there's some vibranium that's like kind of just built into the bottom of the ocean, type of stuff.
Yeah, so Wakanda, you know, for all its losses and such, now it is no longer unique either. Yes. So that means that the kingdom is now officially, there's potential that it can't be heralded the way that it once was, especially after the loss of a king.
So there's, with the discovery of vibranium in other places that's not Wakanda, like you said, like they feel like, oh my gosh, we're like not as unique as we thought we were now. If vibranium is available to,
the power has shifted. Yeah, and which does make Riri's device so strong, because that could also bring down the nation in a way, because if people can mine Wakandan, or not Wakandan, but vibranium, just vibranium without. And
I love that they're both keeping it a secret from the U.S. government, because they're like, they can't know about me. They can't know that they can get vibranium, and they're like, and then like Valentina's like, be like, what's up, like Ross? I know you know stuff. Da 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 da. Yeah. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's crazy. I have never talked to the Wakandans ever.
Yeah, I know. He was so ridiculous. Yeah. The entire time he was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and this leads to an all-out war. Yeah. Pretty much between the two nations.
Turf war, man. It's a turf war.
They're coming for the surface world. And I was just like, oh yeah, he's about to mess him up.
Oh yeah.
He has an unlimited army. When he gave that speech, he was like, I have as many people, soldiers, as you do panes of grass.
Blades of grass.
And I was just like, damn.
I know. I was like, whoa. Which is true. He has fishes. He has all those sea mammals.
He got Shamu, bro. He got orcas.
Can we just say how exquisite that was? Like, this orca just comes out.
I turned to Sam. I was like, they got Shamu. This is crazy.
which of course brings us to Atuma and Namora. portrayed by, I just had their names, Mabel Cadena and Alex Livinali. They were excellent. I was genuinely scared of her.
Her too, and she's so small. But I was also
so scared of her. I was like, man, just even, I thought, it was really cool to see that because I'll admit, like at first glance, I was like, they're blue. Because they've never had this coloration in the comics. They were just flesh colored. Right? But this is the science at work. This is the science of when they're underwater, they're natural tones.
Yes, I noticed that too. And I was like...
And I feel like a lot of people might not even realize that.
Yeah.
If you didn't realize that, congratulations. When they're underwater, they are natural color. But when they're on the surface, they're blue because of the way that the color reflections and all of that works. It's so incredible to me. I thought it was so fantastic how they did that. And also the little... the apparatus that they wear.
I know, that's so sick. Because it's like
water.
You know what I thought of? I thought of the SpongeBob episode where they go into Sandy's dome and they wear the fish bowls of water. That was my first
Can
thought.
I get you a glass of water?
I need it.
Yes, exactly.
That's the first thing I thought of.
Exactly
But they made it look so
so
cool.
cool. Well, because and this is why I kind of wish you had watched Aquaman, right? Because in Aquaman they had this issue. The issue, I think they even said it in one of their behind the scenes things, is that they're technically supposed to be filming underwater, and it was a pain in the ass to make it look like everybody had floaty hair, that that people were floating, and they used a gigantic amount of
they made it look so good in Black Panther.
In Black Panther, it's actually good. Damn, it's actually pretty good.
I was looking at that too. I was just like, damn, this is an underwater world.
Yeah.
So when you see the people, I was just like, yeah, I believe this 100%. I believe I'm actually underwater right now.
Because they're fluid, right?
Yeah.
And they do appear to be underwater.
It was the voices too. It was the way the voices sounded too
Mm-hmm.
underwater that kind of sold it.
Yeah, they really thought about the science aspect, which is what I love.
Enough to a T
Just
where
enough,
it's like, okay, yes.
Even to the point that they didn't have bubbles.
Oh,
did you notice that?
I didn't even notice that.
They didn't have bubbles. None of them had bubbles except for actual humans that are underwater. So when, again, like you said, spoiler alert, when Shuri is down there, she's in the suit.
Yes.
So you don't see it from her. Everybody else, when they're speaking, or even when Namor comes down and sits on his throne, when they're about to have that sea war, there's no bubbles. And it's because they explained it in earlier, is that some of them have the gills. Namor himself is able to cycle through the oxygen and everything from the water, and so none of that happens. Because it's like fish. You don't see fish have bubbles unless they're moving very quickly, right?
Yes.
And then they actually, to prove that wasn't an error or anything, when she finally takes the herb and she awakens in the chamber of her ancestors,
yes,
she's underwater at first, right? When she looks up, you see bloop, 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 bubbles. And then she comes up and she gets out. And I was like, dang, they really thought about
to detail.
The attention to detail is incredible, because these are things, again, facets that the average viewer probably didn't think of. Oh yeah, whatever. There were bubbles there. And it's like, no, there were no bubbles.
Yes.
And so speaking of the ancient chamber.
Okay. Oh yeah. So I guess so. This war happens. The fight between Talocan and Wakanda.
Yep.
They fight for just this is what happens if this doesn't happen.
Yep.
And it leads to, this is one of the times I cried. One of the 4 times I cried, because this was the one time, one of them where I was not expecting, did not see coming.
Yeah.
It is in the midst of all this war. Namor kills. I think even just saying it out loud is
weird,
insane.
right?
He kills Queen Ramonda.
Yeah.
And I saw that happening, and I was just like, "There's no way." I was like,
drowned her.
I was just like, "There's no way."
Yeah.
And I was relaying it back, and I was like, she could have lived.
Yep.
Because the reason why she died was because she went back to get Riri.
Yep.
Because she was drowning.
Yep.
If she had just swum straight back up, she would have been. She would have lived, but Riri would have died.
Yep.
But she made the conscious choice to get her.
Yep.
And with all whatever strength she had left,
it was out.
She got Riri up, but she was not able. They brought Riri back to life through CPR, but they couldn't bring the queen back. Yeah. And I was just like, there's no.
It was so quiet, and I felt like one of very few people who was like, "Are you for real?" Like I said it out loud. I was like, "Are you for real?"
There's no way.
Because I was like, "No, there's no way."
When I saw Riri spit the water back out, and I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And then like it just a longer pause, and I was like, "There's no way."
Because and it's so incredible the way they build it up, right?
Yeah.
Because you get these
like both of them.
You get this flash. You get this flash of hope. Like, okay, great, the kid is good. She's breathing, great. And then you see Nakia like move over, and then Okoye. Like the minute Shuri comes into the room, she's like, "Hold her!" And I was like,
"Now,
oh no." Yeah. So, like the fact that she was telling M'Baku to hold
her back,
Shuri
because
back,
just we don't know.
Yeah, the emotions are
can't
raging.
See this.
Yeah, and then of course the confirmation from the Kimoyo beads, which played such a big part in this film in general, like they did in the first as well. But in this movie, I felt like they were so much even more technologically advanced that they really showed what they can do, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah,
like the fact that you can get a legit like health status on
That's
somebody.
That's vibranium for you right there. Yeah,
and so the sad unfortunate truth that Nakia like does the status check and the queen has gone already. I was like,
usually you can see when someone's gonna kind of die or when it's their time. Yeah. I didn't see that coming at all. Out of all the Marvel movies so far,
right?
This was the death where I was like, "There's no way."
Yeah,
especially
no way. Again, because like you said, like she pulls Riri and you're just like, okay, great, Riri's fine.
Like cool, like she got her.
Yeah, she got her. She's going up and she gets up, and you just think,
and then it cuts away.
Great, you're great. No,
when it cuts away, and then they enter the chamber again, and they're both kind of face down. I was like, okay,
yeah,
they're gonna get saved right now. They're in time, and then now they said she passed, and I was just like,
he's cold, by the way. He's like, what did he say? He's like, mourn your dead and
mourn your losses.
Yeah,
make something like
and bury your dead and mourn your losses.
Yes, because I'm coming. Basically said,
I'm coming back in a week's time.
Like do this quickly because I'm coming back.
Yeah, it's so messed up.
I was just
he's scary.
Yeah, that was when I was like, oh, this.
Yeah,
I don't know how you stop this guy.
Yeah, it's but thankfully they come up with the plan very, very concisely near the end. But speaking of Nakia, like going back to Nakia and the fact that she's in Haiti.
Yeah.
Which I love too, that they're incorporating Haiti of all places. Or Haiti, depending on how you say it.
It depends, yeah.
Haiti. I love that because, again, a callback to the original film, like the whole thing of T'Challa courting Nakia was that she wanted to do things she wanted to help school children, and she wanted to build school in that first film. And so he was like, oh, I'll help you, and you can do that here, or we can do it wherever you want, etc., etc. And then she ends up doing it in the second film in Haiti. I just thought it was such a great way to reintroduce that character because we did not see her during Endgame. And so she was notably absent. And so and Infinity War for that matter. So to see like where the heck had she gone?
Yeah.
They had resolve for everybody's absence between films. And so I thought hers was really great. I love Lupita. She's great. She's fantastic. Yeah. I love that they really do call back. They play on the fact that she used to be like an agent, a spy of sorts.
Yes.
And she has these skills and a skill set, and she's able to retrieve Shuri and Riri from the Talokan.
Yeah.
And then of course M'Baku.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Our guy. Yes.
Yes. Man, I love him. yeah, once again, he ended up playing a bigger role than previously, which was expected in many ways. And again, they're more welcome, and it was interesting for me because he was almost like a wise right hand man in a lot of ways.
Yes, like he's
right?
aware of both sides, but he's also like, look, this is we're fighting a dude, a god that his people call him a god.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go up against the god, and it's like I don't know if that's the right choice for us.
Right. Well, that's the interesting thing about M'Baku, right? Because we talked about this in our character study, where he is of traditional values and of traditional ways about going about things, and the very ancestral type of methodology that he has with the Jabari. And so I think that's what really helps him understand Namor more than the Wakandans do at first, because he's like, oh, no. He is from many centuries of living, and
his
he's
people
been worshipped.
him,
His people,
yeah.
Like he understands this old world god type of way.
Yeah.
And also that they're not necessarily technologically advanced at all. They use everything that they use is native to
whatever they have.
They
They have vibranium.
Yeah, and vibranium.
Yeah.
But they don't have any fancy technology. It's literally like mammals and fin whales and orca.
Yes.
And so I thought that he brought a sense of like normalcy and stability to the film that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
I expected more of him, obviously, but I didn't expect him to be such a pillar.
Yes.
Especially for Shuri.
I agree. Yeah,
So,
I agree. Yeah, because he made a promise to T'Challa.
Yeah.
You know, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Ooh,
Yeah.
love him.
And
And I
then-
love that he came in with a carrot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Solidifying that they are indeed vegetarians.
Yeah. And then, so moving on from that, and not like Nakia's back in, following the death of the queen.
Mm-hmm.
They go into this final battle, but before that final battle, Shuri has to make like a choice. She's like, I need to do something. I need to recreate this flower, the
Heb.
the ebb. And so you kind of see her she's like kind of desperate, but also like Wakanda's without power. Wakanda's without their king. Wakanda's without their queen.
Yeah.
Shuri is the last
Yeah.
line of that family.
Yep.
Or so we thought. Wait for later at the episode. So she has to basically, Wakanda has no protector.
Mm-hmm.
There is no Black Panther, and she takes it upon herself to recreate the Black Panther herb, and
which of course she was trying to do in the first place, because despite the fact that T'Challa died from a mysterious illness, my thought is that for some reason the power of the Black Panther was taken from him, and it made him fall ill.
Yes.
And so he was susceptible to illness. That's when he got sick. And so because of Killmonger destroying all the plants,
but
they did not have anything else.
Yeah.
And so this is why she's created this machine to essentially 3D print what would eventually become a working herb in modern age. And so when she finally does it for herself, it's...
Oh man.
Yeah.
She takes the herb, she becomes the Black Panther, and the next cameo when she does take the herb.
Let me just say, I didn't think for a second we would see him again.
And she enters the ancestral plane hoping to see her family again, but instead she runs into Eric Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan.
The theater blew up.
You know what pissed me off?
What?
Sam.
Why?
Because she loves Michael B. Jordan.
Why did it piss you
She
off?
looked at me. She was like, And I was like, how dare you right now? How dare you? She was just like, I was like, I heard you the first 3 times.
You just play her the part of this episode where you were mentioning every single MCU girl that you would date, and I think you call
I'm
it
blocking
even.
her.
That's funny.
It's one thing to say it on the podcast, because it's not just her. Everyone else hears it. In that theater, she specifically was like,
to you. Look, the man is beautiful. Okay.
he is, but I get it.
But yeah, I did not expect to see him.
I was like, this is messed up.
Because I thought it was Ramonda, right? At first. And I was
somebody.
Like, it was somebody. It had to be somebody. And I was like, I don't know. It's not going to be Chad. And then boom.
Reasons made sense, though.
Oh, 100%.
The reasons made sense.
100%.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is going to get kind of dark.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where I was kind of like, usually when you go to the ancestral plane, that's when the character has their moment of like
reflection.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
It's like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to be this person. I am this person.
Yeah.
And Shuri just took it like a one complete 180 and was like, are you your brother or are you me? And I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of true because she didn't believe in the ancestral plane.
Yeah.
She just wants revenge for her brother, her mother. And I was like, oh, this is going to be dark. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so in the ancestral plane, the family that she sees is Killmonger.
Just Killmonger.
And I was like,
only Killmonger, which is so upsetting.
Yeah.
But also, again, it makes perfect sense. Like, I could just imagine the disappointment, right? She wanted to see her Baba. She wanted to see her mom. She wanted to see
Chadwick.
T'Challa, you know?
Yeah, like.
And then she got nothing. She got the cousin that betrayed them all.
Yes.
It is more or less a big component as to why she didn't have her brother anymore, which is also a component of why she didn't have her mother anymore. And so, as much as, of course, like she hates knowing the fact, it is very much, and it's just coming to me right now, it's very much a moment like in Guardians 2 where Yondu looks Rocket in the face and he's like, because I am you, or what did he say? He's like, I understand you, boy, because you're me. Like, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
They hated each other, or she hates the thought of Killmonger so much. But the sad, unfortunate truth is that they have so much more in common
Than they think.
She
realizes.
Than she even realizes, and she has more or less become that same level of anger and rage and revenge.
Yeah.
That he was feeling.
And then after that meeting, for the next however long it is for that whole battle, she just wants to kill Namor.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not going to end well. And I was like, I don't know, because usually like this is where the hero has their reflection, and it's like, oh, she's doing this because she's just out of revenge.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
And the fact that the girl took a pull to the stomach.
That was insane. I was like, oh, snap.
At that point, I legitimately was like, is she going to die in this movie?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea what's going to happen at all. And then, so they go through this whole fight.
Yep.
They've, Namor and Shuri, and it was intense. It was intense.
Yeah. It was a lot. What did you think about the Mark II?
I thought it was insane. I thought it looked so cool.
Which is, what's crazy to me?
Felt familiar, but it felt new.
Felt new, right? It wasn't like, that sucks. Like, she's trying to be Iron Man. Like, no. You never, I at least from my perspective, even being as ingrained as those characters are ingrained in me as a fan, I didn't once think, aside from the homage shots, I didn't once think, oh, like Tony. Like, no, it was Riri.
Yes,
it was all Riri.
100%.
Yeah, so she got stuck with that spear.
Stabbed.
Stuck.
And so they're doing this whole fight, and Namor is literally about to die because he hasn't touched any water, and then obviously Shuri is just
science.
Yeah, whatever. I was like, whatever. I know when to disconnect.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a comic book movie.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Well, actually, before we get into that ending of that, Shuri's Black Panther suit.
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah.
She looks so good.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, like
the gold bits and the callbacks to the previous suits that she made in other films.
Man.
In the other film,
her pulse cannons.
I like that whole thing.
Yeah.
Of like she brought that, like that's her thing, right?
Yeah.
And she's integrated it into her suit. And so that's interesting because that feels like it was like the suit is more or less like nanotech and vibranium. Did it formulate to look like that?
I think they're just
they adopted,
and then
because I think she was she was on the side of the ship and she was clawing people, and then she flipped. And then she pulled her hands out, and they just like.
I think it also because remember at the end of that fight too, like it was broken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
and it broke,
kind of
and
came
so
off.
she just like she tossed it off.
Yeah,
it was so cool. I love the intricate details that they put in the suit and the embellishments that made her different from T'Challa, but they still had remnants of the first 2 or 3 suits that he had, in that. When she hits, when it's impacted by anything, she absorbs the kinetic energy of it, which is so cool. And
even Okoye's new suit too,
Midnight Angel.
Midnight Angel. Like, what is that? And like that's cool too.
She had some of the best lines in this film.
She was great. I love her.
Is it just me, or is this thing getting uglier? I was like, oh.
Yeah. Going back to about towards the end where Shuri has the opportunity to kill Namor.
Yeah.
Like, you deserve to die.
Yeah.
But it was at that moment she had the opportunity, but then she started like rethinking her actions, and that's when she sees her mom in the ancestral plane. And Queen Ramonda is like, show them who you really are. And she makes her proposition to be like, well, watch your people if you watch our people type of thing. And now they're cool. And I was like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
2 of the most powerful nations that not many of the world knows. Only the world knows about one of them.
One of them, yeah.
And they're like allies. And
at least
fast forwarding
we hope so.
And then fast forwarding to the end, that Namor has, the conversation Namor has with Namora, I was looking forward to fighting by your side type of stuff. And then Namor is like, Wakanda has no allies, which was set up in the beginning because all the other nations trying to invade and steal vibranium. Wakanda has no allies with the world. Once the world turns on Wakanda, Wakanda will turn to them. Yeah. And that's when they can... And then that's when they can team up and be allies and fight together. And I was like, that's dangerous, bro. Oh, 100%. That's dangerous.
Sure.
Like, why would the U.S. government even think about, attacking upon Wakanda?
Yeah. So it's gonna be a little frightful to see what actually transpires in all of this. Yeah. And when we even see Namor and the Talokan again. But speaking of futures, there's that one. Okay, well, before we get to that real quick, legitimately, the last scene of the actual film, when Shuri is finally sitting down and having her own...
And burning her garb, her funeral garb,
and having the moment, and in previous times, like when she would think about T'Challa, it was always pain. It was always... reflected in pain and suffering in some way, and the grief that she felt. But in the very last scene, it being instead the joyful times that they had together. Yeah. Geoffrey, I was sobbing.
That was the last time
I was sobbing.
That was the last time that made me cry.
I was like...
Lost it.
I lost it. Blubbering mess, dude.
I lost it.
Yeah, I lost it.
It was like all their moments from the first movie and whatever, Infinity War.
Yeah.
I fucking broke me. I was just like, damn, am I crying again? This is insane. How dare they do this, bruh?
Did Sam do the thing where she was like, are you crying?
No. I was hiding it pretty well because most of my tears come out from my left eye and she was on my right side. So I was like, oh. I was like,
oh yeah. God. I was just,
it was just silent. There was no music. There was no nothing. It was just the clips of Chadwick from the previous movies, and I was like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, and I think that was especially perfect, right? Because the last thing you really like, as much as people loved him and loved T'Challa, the last thing you really need is to hear what you've heard before. Yeah. And so to instead see him, and actually the way that Ryan Coogler and the team like really made you feel like you were living that moment of like, hey, don't think about all the sad times. Don't think about the suffering up to that point. But instead think of all the good times. And like their like secret handshake. Yeah. And like what are those?
Letitia killed that scene.
Oh, she
man.
freaking killed
with
it.
the sunset hitting
it was
like
beautiful.
her in the back.
Yeah.
And she just like kind of lets it all go. I was like, this is insane.
Yeah. Oh, loved it. And then of course, which brings us to the mid-credits scene.
Oh.
Which sealed the deal on me being destroyed.
Which I think I legit said out loud, like WTF out loud. And I was like, what?
Yeah, because I was like, because I in the back of my head, I'd always thought maybe she had a baby. Maybe she met somebody else.
Really? That was you? You've always
100%. Yeah, I was like, I think what happened is that she tried to do the thing in Wakanda, but it wasn't for her. She ended up leaving, and then she went to go out and do her thing, and that she met somebody else. And maybe she's not with them, but that she would have had a child. And so when the kid rolled up, I was like, immediately reburst into tears. And I was like, this is T'Challa's child. I know it. And then this sweet little baby angel.
I heard you're good at keeping secrets.
Yes.
I can keep a secret. Well, I forget what his Haitian name was.
I know. It's Toussaint.
Toussaint. Toussaint's my
Toussaint is my
Haitian name.
My Haiti name.
Yeah, like my real name is T'Challa.
My name is Prince T'Challa, son of King T'Challa.
And I was just like, what? And I was like, what?
Yes! And the fact that
they're pulling a whole Clint Barton right now.
100%, right? Like, by the way, but no, and it's perfect because it's again, that's why I do feel like the throwaways that they've planted in this film are so much more important than we think, because the ones that they do revisit in this film, for instance, Shuri says, "Oh, did my mother know?"
Yeah,
and then Nakia says yes.
Yeah.
And you think back to the beginning of the film, just before Namor makes his entrance, when they're sitting, when it's just Ramonda,
I have to tell you something.
She says, I have to tell you something about your brother.
Yeah.
And then that's when all the ish goes down.
Yes.
And so that might have been the exact moment that Ramonda was going to say, your brother has a child,
a son.
Yes.
Who is technically the next line of the throne.
Exactly.
Which I also think is kind of like a nice little small hint that T'Challa is going to be recast at some point for sure. Not now, because we are still mourning Chadwick and this T'Challa.
But see, this is the thing, right? Because Feige is a man of technicalities, right?
Yeah.
And so he's still keeping his word. They're not recasting Chadwick Boseman as King T'Challa.
Yeah.
They are ensuring that now there is somebody by the name T'Challa that can rise up into this role as Black Panther without recasting anybody. It's a new, and it makes sense, and it's a fresh take on that whole thing.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God. I was just like, I was over the moon with it. I was like, okay, I can hang with this. This I can deal with. But the question is, who and how does that baby?
I was talking about this with Sam too, and I was just like, that's Chadwick's son technically, in the movies, and so technically, that child is next in line of the throne. Yep. Like not Shuri, unfortunately, but But it is.
But she can be queen.
She can be, but it is technically Prince T'Challa.
Yeah,
is the next in line.
Yes,
which is when I told her, I was like, that's huge. That's like what are they planning?
Yeah, Yeah,
and I'm sure Ryan Coogler has ideas for a third movie,
a third film. Yeah, Toussaint. Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to get into theories of who could possibly, take the mantle of Prince T'Challa, but I think it is like a nice little hint to say, like, look, this will be forever Chadwick. King T'Challa is Chadwick.
Yeah.
But I also do like that they say Prince T'Challa, this version of T'Challa exists, and at some point, someone will take up this mantle. Yeah. Who that will be, we have no idea.
I truly think that's the best thing that they could
But it's good to know that, okay, like this new T'Challa, Prince T'Challa, he's gonna be an actor. It's not Chadwick's King T'Challa, but
it's a newer one. Who is, by the way, this young one is played by Divine Love Konadu-san.
Oh my gosh!
Divine Love. His name is Divine Love. I love him.
Wow.
So cute, and he has a little lisp. I guess your name is cool. Oh, your name is cool too. I guess. Yeah. I was like, oh, he's so cute.
Yeah, and just a great ending.
Yeah.
You know, and then Rihanna's "Lift Me Up" plays, which hits different. Bring me close.
Keep his hand.
Yeah.
Sing.
Sorry. Just you know, that song hits different now for that ending.
For sure. Yeah.
But yeah, the movie was freaking amazing.
Yeah, I liked it.
Amazing.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
That was great. I know I haven't talked about it on social much at all. I mean, there's a lot going on, but yeah, it slaps different. You know what I mean? It's really good, but it's also very difficult to watch.
Yeah.
But I think they did it very well. I think they handled it very well.
I felt it didn't feel like it was a 2-hour 40-minute movie.
No.
I'll say that.
I don't think so.
I felt it all.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just made me miss Chadwick Boseman.
I know.
Like even more.
I miss him so much.
Yeah.
So sad.
But yeah, Black Panther.
Yeah.
Wakanda Forever was amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful tribute while also furthering the story of the Black Panther and Wakanda. Yep. I don't know where they go from here. Yeah,
that's it. That's all we can say. Because of course we're sure, to cover more of these characters. We still have, Nakia and we still have Shuri, and
we probably missed some Easter eggs and everything, and characters.
But even, still we have room to talk about them further. So we're sure to do that soon enough, and I'm sure we can do a deep dive on no pun intended, Namor himself in a future episode. But speaking of future episodes, we have next up, in timing with the holiday special.
Oh, the holiday special.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
And him right now in Dai's house making a ruckus.
My favorite, Rocket Raccoon.
Oh, I'm excited for this one.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So we're gonna revisit or explore.
Yes.
This, raucous little rocket. Trash Panda in our next episode. So thanks for listening, guys.
Oh yeah.
A We Are Groot salute to Ed, Andrew, the Arachnerd, Robin, Jenny, Tyler, Andrea, Claire, Katie, Ashley, Laura, Joe, Liz, Melanie, Nats, and Ariel. If you follow us on social at STRKCNTRST, we will be very happy if you do so. And if you like what you hear, review, rate, and subscribe.
Do it.
Yes.
Do it.
And that's the show.
Once again, thanks for hanging with us. Go watch Black Panther.
Do it.
Wakanda Forever if you haven't yet.
And enjoy the stuff at Disneyland, California Adventure until January.
They got it all.
Thanks
again for listening, and we will catch y'all on the next one.
See ya.
Bye.
Wakanda Forever.
I am queen of the